The act of tipping is a bar custom from Europe. After the Civil War, wealthy Americans began traveling to Europe in significant numbers, and they brought the tip home with them to demonstrate their willingness. As tipping became popular in America, many found it to be antithetical to democracy and American ideals of equality. In 1891, journalist Arthur Gay wrote that a tip should be given to someone who is presumed to be inferior to the donor, not only in worldly wealth, but in social position too. Tipping again changed in the 1960s when Congress agreed that workers could receive a lower minimum wage if a portion of their salary came from tips. The minimum wage for tip workers is $2.13, which has not changed in over 20 years, as long as those workers receive at least $7.25 in tips per hour. 25 states and DC have their own slightly higher tip minimums. The remaining 7, including California, guarantee the full state minimum wage to all workers. It's not clear when the word tip came into the English language, but some consider that the origins of the word came from Samuel Johnson. Johnson frequented a coffee shop which had a bowl label to ensure promptitude, and Johnson and other guests would put a coin into the bowl throughout the evening to receive the better service. This soon was shortened to TIP and then simply tip. In America, it can be said that tipping is customary. It's a significant portion of the income of wait staff and other U.S. service providers, as employers often pay their employees minimum wage. So, Americans are so prodigious and prolific tippers that sometimes non-tippers are considered cheap and are treated with contempt. However, tipping practices can vary depending upon the location in the U.S. Generally, many food servers in USA get paid much less than the federal wage, often $7.25. So, they're expected to get tips from the customer, and the average tip is about 15 to 20% based on the quality of the service. 10% usually means you aren't totally happy. 15% usually means acceptable. 20% for excellent. Over 20% for out. In some restaurants, they may have service not included printed on the bill to make sure that you leave a tip. The general tipping rule is $1 to $2 per drink, while some people may tip as high as $5 for the first drink to make sure the waitress remembers them and returns a favor. However, people always pay at least a 10% tip when the bill arrives at the service of waitress. In America, many hotel guests are always tip housekeeping about $2 to $5 a day. They will leave tips daily before leaving the hotel to reward the housekeeping, who immediately service the room and in expectation of good service. Moreover, if they bring up extra towels late at night or fulfills another request, it's mandatory to tip $1 to $5. For porters, people usually tip them $1 to $2 per bag and more if the bags are very heavy. Tipping about 10 to 15% of the total fare is the norm for taxi there. If a driver assists with your bags, people can tip them more couple extra bucks if they want to. For shuttles, it's acceptable to tip $2 to $3 per person. Tipping It's appreciated but not always appropriate in London. Tipping is not expected in the UK in the way it is in other countries. All staff in the UK must by law be paid at least the national minimum wage £6.7 per years of age. Therefore, like most European countries, the need and culture for tipping has lessened, making up service wages to £9.30 per hour in London would be a reasonable tipping gesture by customers. It is customary to leave 10 to 15% of the bill when eating out. However, restaurants often add on a service charge, usually 12.5%, so it's worth checking your bill if you don't want to tip twice. It's not customary to pay a tip for fast food, self-service, or takeaway meals. People generally do not tip in pubs in London. Bartenders sometimes hand back change on a tipping tray, although it's still up to you to choose to leave a tip. You can tip your porter about £1 or £2 per bag, or £5 if you are in a 5-star hotel. You do not need to tip room service or your housekeeper, but it would not be inappropriate to do so. If you tip your housekeeper, you can leave a few pounds on the night table. It is polite to tip 10 to 15% of the taxi fare for black cabs and light and mini cabs in London. However, most people simply round up the fare to the nearest £1 and tell the driver to keep the change. If you had a longer journey and the driver had assisted you with luggage, you may wish to tip a little more, up to £5.
Oh yes, I've been to United States. I think the time then before you guys were born. It was around 1980s, in the mid of 80s. Then I went to graduate school in Northern Colorado, and then I moved to Southern California, and just to make extra income. So I worked in a Thai restaurant. Then the wages are very low. I remember we got a few dollars per hour, and then the working hours is real short. And if you're lucky enough, they allow you to work on Friday night, which was very, very good because Friday night's time, and there's people love to go out.
Yes, first I was an exchange student in America when I was in high school, and I was an international student for work travel program in last year.
At that time, you just need only 10% of the total bill. For example, if the dinner costs $25, so then you earn tipping probably about $3. Or sometimes if the customer they're generous, they give you $5. Yay, $5! And sometimes the tipping system they put them like they pool the tips together. Like $5 here, $6 there, they add them together and then divide it by the numbers of the workers. But now something changed because it's increasing. The tipping was like 15% now. And then they have, sometimes they have, they call, like you have VAPs here. And I still met some Thai students who make their living working as a waitress or waitress in the restaurant. So tipping is very important. It's a mandatory. It's a good manner. It's a must. If you cannot afford a tip, order the food and take them home. We call that to tip.
For tipping in American, I think it's fair if the waitress is good, but if it's bad, I don't want to tip them. Even they have like $5 or $2 per hour. From my experience, when I was in America, when I eat with my friends, I was like, I don't want to tip because it costs a lot for comparing to Thai currency. Yeah, but think about it. If the meal is like $20 and 15 of it should be, I don't want to calculate, but it's expensive when it changed into Thai currency. I don't think it's fair when they just serve. Yeah, sometimes, but if they're really nice, I want to tip for them, but not that much. Yeah, it's because I'm not rich.
I have been to the United Kingdom.
Yes, I went to the UK for summer course 2 years ago.
From my experience, they don't really tip there. I guess because it's the customs of the country. As a traveler, when I go to a place where they don't tip, especially in restaurants, I see no reason why I have to tip the servers. So when I went to the UK, I never leave the tip. And I don't really feel guilty about it because that's what people do over there. In terms of the difference that I noticed in the level of service without tipping in comparison to in America, I think the service in America is much better. The servers are much more attentive and much more professional. I guess because tipping is part of the motivation when they do the job.
I think tipping in the UK is not that serious as in the US. Some people in the UK tip, but some don't. But then when I was in the UK, I tipped just a little bit. The cost of the food was already extremely high, so if I tip a lot, the cost would have been even higher. So I don't like tipping at all. I tipped in the US more than I was in the UK because in the US I think they are more serious than in the UK.
Tipping in United States are more usual compared to United Kingdom. Americans always tip the service providers such as waiter and waitress, and normally tipping rate will be calculated into percentage to guide how much you should tip. In contrast, tipping is not necessary in United Kingdom as it's always included on the bill. However, if you want to, it's okay to tip, but people are not expected to tip as much as people in United States.